In a bid to lead Nigeria out of recession, the federal government now draws a sustainable solution by introducing the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan to steer the nation out of the woods. While this Marshall Plan is based on key ingredients of social inclusion and economic diversification, is there enough political will to turn around Nigeria's economic fortune positively? It's question time. Welcome to the program. I'm Benga Ashiru. You may also join in this conversation by sending us your comments on our various social media platforms showing on your screen. At a time when the nation is faced with a major shortfall in the oil production output, drop in the value of Naira, and a double-digit inflation, the federal government comes up with a draft on the ease of doing business to stimulate economic growth. In setting the record straight, Channels TV caught up with the Minister of State for Trade and Investment, Aisha Abubakar. We began by taking her to task on the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan.
The Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment has a critical role to play in the Economic Recovery Plan because one of the key sectors there, or one of the key factors there, is the Nigeria Industrial Revolution Plan. And we have the target of implementing that plan during this recovery period that we're into. We have a role to play when it comes to the SME development. We have a role to play in the special economic zones, and we also have a role to play in the agro-processing of the agricultural sector, which we're also promoting very strongly as a priority in the Economic Recovery Plan. Also, we have a role to play when it comes to certain industries like the steel and so on. But those are not key, they're not top. But our Industrial Revolution Plan has some sectors like tomato policy and so on that we have roles to play.
Do we have a clear-cut Industrial Revolution Plan?
Oh yes, we do in the ministry, yes. It was approved by the last administration and it's something that we're keying into. We have partnership from UNIDO and we're developing sector plans for each of the sectors that we're going to.
Tell us the thrust of this Industrial Revolution Plan.
The major industrial plan is a plan that highlights areas where Nigeria has comparative and competitive advantage in certain sectors. Like we've seen what has happened in the cement policy, like we've seen what is going on in the cotton, textile and garment industry, we've seen what has happened in the auto industry. They're all fallouts of the Nigeria Industrial Revolution. It's a guide where we have ministerial committees for every sector policy that we're developing, so everybody has an idea and has roles to play, and it spells out the do's and don'ts, for example, of what sector players are doing. So you can look at our sugar master plan as well.
The country is in a state of recession. What are your plans to stimulate economic growth?
Creating an enabling environment for businesses to thrive, coherence between monetary and fiscal policies, trade facilitation agreements, of course SME development as well, and then I think most importantly trying to support the manufacturing sector to be able to come out of this, to pull out of this recession and be able to get back into full production.
Now, I would also look at some industries, some sectors of the economy. Let's start with the textile sector, where the federal government is planning a 51 billion naira intervention. What should Nigerians, especially those in the textile sector, expect from this package?
Federal government intervened a couple of years back with the 51 billion. It's just that a lot of the textile industries, this is what has been accessed by textile manufacturers. What it is that the whole policy has different sectors to it, different areas where intervention is required. But the intervention that we've had has just come in the financial aspect. We have infrastructure issues, we have marketing issues, we have counterfeiting issues. So we have to be able to address all of those issues before we can say we have a implementable, which is what we're implementable cotton, textile and garment policy. So this is what we've been working on. We're talking to Federal Ministry of Agric and Rural Development in ensuring that we have the right inputs, the right seedlings, so that we can have the proper implementation of the backward integration plan. We're talking to the textile industries. Most of them have retooled, but they're complaining about these infrastructure issues. So we're engaging customs, we're engaging the Federal Ministry of Petroleum Resources, and we had a meeting with the CG of Customs We're also discussing with Petroleum Resources on how we can create an enabling environment for them and capacity building. We're also having discussions with some garment people. We signed an agreement with Clothing 360. We're talking to fashion designers. Some of the special economic zones, at least two, dedicated to garment manufacturing. So there are issues that we're trying so that we could have the entire value chain in place. And the funding will be supported both by Bank of Industry and Central Bank of Nigeria.
Let's take an outlook of what the investment drive of the federal government looks like in terms of luring foreign direct investment into the country.
Well, for the foreign direct investment, I think what we're trying very hard to work on now is a review of our tariffs and our incentives. So our Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission is working very hard on the review so that we can have our incentives in place. We're also looking at trying to set up the Secretariat for the Enabling Business Environment, where we hope the effectiveness of the one-stop shop will become very prominent. I know federal government most of federal government agencies now have functional websites so information is there all at once, so you have an idea. Coherence between our monetary and fiscal policy is a key one. And hopefully we are hoping that we're going to be able to resolve. So once the foreign investors see that our environment, or at least our monetary policy, is in place and they're speaking to each other, not against each other, then I think the environment would be right for them to come in to invest.
At the moment, many investors are complaining about the cost of doing business in Nigeria. They are saying that the cost is just too high and the investment climate is very unfriendly.
Well, I don't think the business environment has gotten the kind of promotion it did, because a lot has been going on, is being done by government. So many efforts are being made in different segments. I think what we need to do is to communicate more effectively on all the issues that government is trying to address to create an enabling business environment. And for example, a lot has been done at the airports. So when you come in, you can get your visa. When you come in some countries, I think about 48 countries are now accessing that. A lot of work has been done with the customs people. I know a lot of work is being done with immigration, even in terms of procedures and form filling and so on. And then we're doing a lot more hand-holding for investors when they come in, so that you know exactly where you're going and then you don't fall short. I know CAC is also doing a lot to improve its website and the registration processes. So much is ongoing now. I think maybe we just need to communicate all the achievements that we've made in creating an enabling business environment for investors to come in.